What if the man who kissed your forehead at night was the same man who ordered strangers to die? Diana James did not know that truth yet. All she saw was her husband standing by the window of their 18th floor apartment in Seoul, his tall frame outlined by the city lights. The sky outside was dark blue, full of distant stars and blinking red towers. Inside, the air smelled like warm food and Lee Jae's cologne. "Come here," he said softly, turning to her with that small, careful smile he always wore. Diana walked toward him, her bare feet silent on the wooden floor. Her dark curls fell over her shoulders, and her soft brown skin glowed under the warm lights. She was still in her hospital scrubs, tired but radiant. Her heart always calmed when she looked at him. "You're late," she teased, wrapping her arms around his waist. "Again." He rested his hands on her hips, his touch gentle, almost too gentle, like he was always afraid to hold her too tightly. "Client meeting ran long," he said. "You know how business is." "You always say that," she replied, searching his eyes. For one small second, something flickered there. Guilt. Pain. A shadow she could not name. Then it was gone. He leaned down and kissed her forehead. "I brought you jjajangmyeon from your favorite place," he said. "And cake. You had a long shift, right, Nurse James?" She smiled, despite the worry in her chest. "You do know food is my love language." "I know everything about you," he whispered. It sounded sweet. It sounded perfect. It was a lie. They ate together at the small dining table by the window, the city glowing beneath them like a different world. Diana talked about a baby she had helped that day, a mother who had cried with relief, a father who had held his newborn like the most fragile gift. "I love seeing families like that," Diana said quietly, staring at her chopsticks. "It makes everything worth it." Lee Jae's hand tightened around his glass. "Not everyone gets that kind of life," he said, voice low. "We could," she replied gently. "Someday." The silence that followed was heavy. Diana felt it press on her chest. She raised her eyes and watched him. "Do you not want children?" she asked. He looked up sharply, then forced a smile. "It's not that," he said. "I just don't want to rush anything." Diana nodded, but something inside her twisted. They had been married almost 3 years. Every time she mentioned children, his eyes darkened, his walls went up, his body tensed. "Okay," she murmured, not wanting to push. "We can wait." He reached across the table and took her hand. "You deserve the best life," he said. "I just want to make sure I can give it to you." The words were soft. The fear behind them was not. Later that night, Diana lay in bed, her head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. It was strong and steady, but his mind felt far away. His fingers slowly traced circles on her shoulder, but his eyes stared at the ceiling. "You're somewhere else again," she said quietly. "I'm here," he replied. "No, you're not." He sighed and kissed the top of her head. "Sleep, Diana. You have an early shift." She closed her eyes, but sleep came slowly. She did not see him slip out of bed an hour later. Did not see him walk into his study, close the door, and pull out a second phone from the safe. "Boss, the Busan deal is ready," a rough voice said over the line. "We move next week." "Good," Lee Jae replied, his tone turning cold, all softness gone. "No mistakes this time." "And your wife?" the man asked. Lee Jae stared at the wedding photo on his desk, Diana laughing in white lace, his own face unreadable beside hers. "She knows nothing," he said. "And she never will." But secrets have sharp edges. And their marriage, already built on smoke, was about to crack. The next morning, she woke before sunrise to find the other side of the bed cold. Again. Lee Jae was already dressed, black suit, black tie, black expression. He stood near the mirror, adjusting his cufflinks with the calmness of someone preparing for war. "You're up early," Diana said, rubbing her eyes. He glanced at her reflection. "I have a meeting in Busan." "Another one?" She sat up slowly. "You were there just last week." "There are things to handle," he said simply. "Things I can't ignore." Diana frowned. "But it's Saturday. We planned to visit Namsan Tower today, remember?" He paused. Just for a second. Then he smiled, the kind of smile people use when they need to escape. "I'll make it up to you," he whispered, kissing her forehead. I promise. Promises. Sweet, but empty. Before she could speak again, his phone buzzed. He snatched it quickly. Bora. Diana saw the name before he locked the screen. His secretary. His translator. His shadow. She tried to ignore the sting in her chest. Is that work? He cleared his throat. Yes. I need to go. He grabbed his coat and headed for the door. Lee J. He stopped. She walked closer and touched his sleeve. Are we okay? His jaw twitched. Of course. But the way he said it felt like a door closing between them. At the hospital, Diana couldn't focus. Every beep of the monitor, every patient's cry, every conversation faded into background noise. Her mind kept replaying the early morning scene. Why was Bora calling so early? Why did Lee J look so tense? Why did he rush out like he was running from something? During her lunch break, she opened her phone and scrolled through their pictures. Birthdays, anniversaries, soft smiles, fake smiles. She paused on one photo of him standing behind her, arms around her waist. He looked perfect. Yet distant. Beautiful. But unreachable. I miss you, she whispered to herself. Lee J's car sped through the empty highway toward Busan. His phone buzzed again. Bora. Boss, she said the moment he answered, her voice soft, almost seductive. You didn't say goodbye last night. I had things to think about, he replied. You always have things to think about. She sighed. Did you read the proposal I sent? I will. And, did you tell your wife you'll be late again? Her voice held a teasing edge. That's none of your business. Oh, but I make everything easier for you. Bora chuckled. Don't I? His grip tightened on the steering wheel, guilt slipping into his chest. You're getting too bold, he said quietly. And you're getting too lonely, she replied. He didn't answer. Because she was right. Later that evening, Diana arrived home exhausted. She opened the wardrobe to hang her coat, and something slipped out of Lee J's jacket pocket. A receipt. One item bought. A necklace. But not one she owned. Her breath hitched. Her heart tilted. She ran her fingers over the date, the time, the store. Last night. He had gone out again after she fell asleep. Why, Lee J, she whispered. What are you doing? Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. A single text. Your husband is not where you think he is. Diana froze. Her fingers trembled as she typed back. Who is this? No response. Just silence. Cold, heavy, terrifying silence. She sank onto the bed, her heartbeat loud in the quiet room. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Her perfect picture had cracks. Thin, sharp, frightening cracks. And through them, the truth was starting to bleed. Diana stood in front of the mirror, her scrubs half-buttoned, her eyes distant. She had barely slept. The mysterious text replayed in her head like a curse. Your husband is not where you think he is. All morning at the hospital, she moved like a shadow, checking vitals, comforting patients, giving medication, yet her mind was nowhere near Seoul. It was with Lee J. And the woman she feared she was slowly losing him to. Across the city, in a glass-walled office on the 32nd floor of Hiso Tower, Bora Jim leaned against Lee J's desk, her lips painted a deep plum, her blouse unbuttoned one button too low. She was his assistant. His translator. His secret. And today, she wanted answers. When Lee J walked in, she smiled sweetly. You're late, boss. I had to handle something in Busan, he said, avoiding her eyes. You didn't text me back. Her tone turned soft, but sharp. He sighed. I was tired. Of me, she asked quietly. He looked up then, a flicker of guilt crossing his face. No. She stepped closer, her heels clicking softly on the floor. You know, she whispered, men only pull away when they're afraid of what they feel. Bora. She touched his sleeve. Just tell me you don't want me, and I'll walk out of this office forever. His heart stumbled. Not out of love. Out of weakness. I can't say that, he murmured. She smiled. A dangerous smile. Because she had him exactly where she wanted him. At the hospital, Diana was finishing her shift when an elderly patient squeezed her hand. You look sad, dear, the woman said softly. Whoever is hurting you, They don't deserve your beauty. Diana's throat tightened. How did you know? I'm old, the woman chuckled. I've seen too many hearts break the same way. Those words pushed Diana to make a decision. She changed clothes, grabbed her bag, and took a taxi straight to Hiso Tower, Lee Jae's company. Her heart pounded as she walked through the shining lobby. Good evening, the receptionist said. Who are you here to see? My husband, Diana replied. Lee Jae. The receptionist blinked. Oh. One moment. She made a call, whispering, stealing glances at Diana, her eyes growing wide with shock. Finally, she stood. Miss, he's on the 32nd floor. The elevator doors opened. Diana stepped in. Her stomach twisted like a knot that refused to loosen. On the 32nd floor, voices drifted from Lee Jae's office, soft, intimate, close. Diana's feet moved on their own, carrying her closer. Then she saw through the half-opened door. Bora stood inches from her husband. Her hand rested on his chest. Her face tilted up with a smile only lovers shared. Stop looking so guilty, Jae, she whispered. Your wife doesn't have to know everything. Diana's world cracked. Lee Jae took a step back. Bora, don't do that. Why not? She asked, laughing softly. You didn't mind last night. Last night. Diana felt her breath leave her body. She didn't wait to hear more. She pushed the door open fully. The room froze. Bora stepped away with a dramatic gasp. Lee Jae's face drained of color. Diana stood in the doorway, her hands shaking. Last night, she whispered. Tell me she's lying. Diana, Lee Jae stepped forward. She stepped back. Don't touch me. Her voice broke. Bora folded her arms, watching with smug satisfaction. You should ask your husband where he really sleeps these days. Enough. Lee Jae snapped. No, Diana said, tears rising. Let her talk. Clearly you already listened to her more than you listened to your wife. The silence that followed was louder than shouting. Finally, Diana whispered, tell me the truth. Are you cheating on me? Lee Jae looked away. And his silence answered everything. Diana pressed a hand to her mouth as tears fell. She felt her heart break with a pain so sharp it stole her breath. I gave you everything, she whispered. My trust, my love, my whole life here. Lee Jae reached toward her again. Diana, please. She turned and ran. Through the hallway. Into the elevator. Out of the building. Her tears blurred the entire city. Behind her, Bora watched with cold satisfaction. Now, she whispered, let's see how long your perfect little life lasts. But she did not know one truth. Broken hearts don't stay silent forever. Some of them become storms. That night, Diana didn't go home. She wandered the streets of Seoul in the cold wind, her vision blurred with tears, her mind replaying Lee Jae's silence again and again. She reached the Han River and leaned on the railing, holding herself tightly. How did I become this woman? She whispered. Crying over a man who never loved me. A soft drizzle began to fall, mixing with the tears she refused to wipe away. Behind her, the city lights flickered like tired stars. And somewhere across Seoul, another storm was brewing. Lee Jae found Diana's phone location still active near the river. He drove there fast, panic choking him. When he didn't see her immediately, his chest tightened. Diana, he shouted into the night. No answer. Only the wind. He cursed, slamming his hand against the car. How did everything collapse so fast? Behind him, footsteps approached. Looking for your wife. Bora's voice floated through the darkness. Lee Jae turned sharply. What are you doing here? She smiled sweetly, the kind of sweetness that hides poison. I followed you. I was worried. You ran after her like she's the only one who matters. She is my wife, he snapped. And I gave you everything, Bora hissed. My loyalty. My time. My youth. I helped you build your empire when no one trusted you. And you repay me by running after a woman who doesn't understand you. You don't get to talk about Diana. His voice was low, dangerous. Oh, but I will, she whispered. Because I'm done being your shadow. She stepped closer, her eyes cold. You made me believe I was important to you. You kissed me. You touched me. You made promises. I never promised you anything. He turned away. That was the moment something in Bora snapped. You used me, she screamed. Lee Jae didn't bother replying. He walked back to his car, breath shaky. But Bora's last words followed him like a curse. You'll regret hurting me, Lee Jae. I promise you that. Diana returned home past midnight. She didn't cry anymore. She felt numb. When she entered the apartment, Lee Jae was sitting on the couch with his head in his hands. He looked up quickly when he heard her footsteps. Diana, his voice cracked. Where were you? I looked everywhere. She shut the door quietly. Don't pretend to care. Not tonight. He stood and walked toward her. I'm sorry. I'll fix this. I'll change. Please talk to me. She lifted her chin, eyes burning. Tell me how long it has been. He swallowed. A few months. She laughed, a broken sound. Months, while I was cooking for you, praying for you, loving you. Diana. No, she stepped back. You don't get to say my name like it still belongs to you. His eyes filled with pain. I never meant to hurt you. But you did. Her voice trembled. And you didn't even stop. The silence between them held more truth than any words. Finally, Diana whispered, I need space. Lee Jae froze. Are you leaving me? No, she said softly. Not yet. But I don't trust you. And trust is not something you can rebuild in one apology. She walked past him and entered the guest room. He didn't follow her. He couldn't. 2 days later, in a dark parking lot in Busan, Bora met with a man wearing a wolf tattoo on his neck, Marco, a lieutenant from the rival Jinsa clan. So, he said, lighting a cigarette, you finally decided to betray your golden boy. Bora's lips curled into a smile. He betrayed me first. And you want him gone? Not gone, she said slowly. Ruined. Marco smirked. Ruined is my specialty. She handed him a flash drive, containing details of Lee Jae's shipments, routes, and private meetings. This is everything, she said. Use it wisely. Marco nodded. We will hit him when he is most vulnerable. When he least expects it. Bora turned away, her heels echoing through the dark. Lee Jae, she whispered into the night, you broke the wrong woman. The next evening, Lee Jae drove to an abandoned warehouse in Busan for what he believed was a routine negotiation. Diana didn't know where he was. He told her he was meeting a client. He walked inside. And immediately sensed danger. Empty. Quiet. Too quiet. Hello, he called out. Then he heard it. A single click. Bullets rained. He dove behind crates, but one hit his side, another tore into his shoulder. Pain exploded through him as he fell to the concrete floor. His blood pooled beneath him. And the last voice he heard before losing consciousness was Bora's. Goodbye, Lee Jae. People say that when death comes, it walks quietly. For Lee Jae, it arrived with fire, metal, and a woman's betrayal echoing in his ears. The warehouse lights flickered above him as he lay on the cold concrete, blood spilling through the cracks like a dark river. His breath came in sharp, broken gasps. Bora, he whispered weakly. The betrayal stung deeper than the bullets. Not because he loved her, but because he trusted her. His vision blurred. The warehouse tilted. The world dimmed. But somewhere inside him, a single thought burned. Diana. Her smile. Her tears. Her voice whispering, don't hurt me again. He deserved every ounce of pain, but she didn't deserve to lose him like this. Not without the truth. Not without his apology. Not without hearing that he finally understood love. With trembling arms, Lee Jae dragged himself across the concrete toward his car outside. Every movement sent agony ripping through his body. But he gritted his teeth. I won't die here, he hissed. Not like this. Outside, rain pounded the ground. The sky cried harder than he did. He pulled himself into the driver's seat, blood smearing across the leather. His hands shook violently as he tried to turn the key. The engine roared. His vision went double. He pressed the accelerator. And the bleeding Mafia boss disappeared into the storm. At Seoul Central Hospital, Diana was finishing a chart when a nurse rushed into the hallway. We have a critical case coming in, the nurse shouted. Multiple gunshot wounds. ETA 1 minute. Diana sighed tiredly. All right, prepare OR2. I'll assist the trauma team. She walked toward the ER doors with her gloves already on. Another busy night. Another stranger fighting to stay alive. The ambulance screeched to a stop outside. The back doors swung open. Gunshot to the abdomen, major bleeding, his losing consciousness, a paramedic yelled. They rolled the stretcher through the sliding doors. And that was when Diana saw the face. Her blood turned to ice. Her knees almost gave out. Lee J. Her husband. Covered in blood. No, 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 this can't be real. Diana staggered forward, grabbing the stretcher. What happened? Where did you find him? Busan Highway, a paramedic answered quickly. He was barely alive when we reached him. Pulse is dropping, another paramedic yelled. Get him to emergency surgery, now. Diana commanded. Doctor, we can assign another surgeon. You're emotionally. I said move. Her scream silenced the hallway. She ran beside the stretcher as they rushed him into the operating room. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but her hands were steady, trained, confident, terrified. When they rolled him under the surgical lights, Lee J's eyes fluttered open. D.I. Anna. She leaned close, her voice trembling. I'm here. Don't talk. Save your strength. He tried to smile. I'm sorry. A tear fell onto his cheek. Don't you dare apologize now, she whispered fiercely. Don't you dare leave me like this. His hand weakly squeezed hers. Don't leave me alone. And then his eyes closed. The monitor beeped wildly. His crashing, a nurse screamed. Scalpel. Diana snapped. The room burst into chaos, hands moving, machines buzzing, blood flowing. Diana's voice didn't shake once. Keep the pressure steady. His blood pressure is dropping. Suction now. He needs more units. Hold on, Lee J, hold on. She fought for him as if her heart were tied to his by a thread of pure desperation. Minutes felt like hours. Hours felt like a lifetime. And then, a steady beep. His heart stabilized. Diana dropped her head, exhausted tears slipping down her mask. Thank God. They wheeled him to ICU. Diana sat beside him long after her shift ended, her eyes watching his bandaged body rise and fall with each fragile breath. You should have died tonight, she whispered, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. But you didn't. She clasped his hand gently. Why? Her voice cracked. Why does my heart still break for you? Outside the room, two Mafia members watched quietly, their coats dripping rainwater onto the floor. One whispered, we need to inform the clan he survived. The other shook his head. No. If the enemies know he's here, they'll finish the job. They turned away. Inside, Diana leaned her head on the edge of the bed, whispering, please come back to me, even if I don't know how to forgive you. Lee J woke to the soft beeping of a heart monitor and the faint scent of antiseptic. His vision was blurred at first, shapes blending into soft white. But then, slowly, the room sharpened. And he saw her. Diana. Asleep beside his bed, her head resting on the mattress, her fingers loosely wrapped around his hand as if she had fought the whole night to keep him alive. His chest tightened, not from pain, but from something deeper. Guilt. Regret. A longing he had buried years ago. He tried to move but winced instead. A soft gasp escaped him. Diana's eyes snapped open instantly. Lee J. She sat up quickly, her voice shaking. Can you hear me? Are you awake? He swallowed hard. Diana, you're here. Of course I'm here. Her eyes glistened. Where else would I be? A single tear slid down her cheek before she quickly wiped it away, pretending she hadn't cried at all. You almost died, she whispered. If the paramedics had found you a minute later, you wouldn't be here. His breath trembled. Then, I should just say it. She frowned. Say what? Lee J looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time, the man who commanded an entire criminal empire looked painfully human. I'm sorry, Diana, he said, voice breaking. For everything. For the lies. For the nights I didn't come home. For Bora. For hurting you. He closed his eyes. You didn't deserve any of it. Diana's fingers tightened around the blanket. Why? She whispered. Why did you do it? Was I not enough? His eyes flew open. No. Don't say that. Don't ever say that. Then why? Her voice cracked. Why did you choose her? The room fell into a heavy silence. Only the monitor beeped. Lee J swallowed, forcing the words out one by one. Because I thought you deserved a better life than the one I could give you. You're lying, she whispered. He shook his head. You want the truth. The real truth. She nodded slowly. He took a deep breath. I'm infertile, Diana. Her world paused. I can't have children. The gas explosion years ago damaged me. The doctors said it was permanent. He looked away, ashamed. All this time. I knew you wanted a family. I saw how your eyes lit up whenever you held a baby at work. And his voice cracked. I couldn't give you that. Diana's heart twisted painfully. So you pushed me away, she whispered. You punished me for something that wasn't my fault. I punished myself. He wiped a tear with shaky fingers. And when Bora came, she was easy. I didn't have to pretend to be enough around her. She didn't expect a future from me. And I did. Diana asked softly. Yes, he breathed. And I was afraid you would hate me if you knew the truth. Her eyes softened. I never needed perfection from you, Lee J. I just needed honesty. His face crumbled. Diana, he reached for her hand with trembling fingers. I never loved Bora. Not even for 1 second. It was weakness, loneliness, stupidity. But not love. She didn't answer. She couldn't. Because her heart was still bleeding. Diana finally stood. Her hands shook as she reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. The pregnancy test report. She placed it gently on his chest. He frowned and picked it up with trembling hands. His eyes scanned the words. Then he froze. Slowly, he looked up at her, his face pale. Diana, this says. I'm pregnant, she whispered. The paper slipped from his fingers and fluttered onto the blanket. His heartbeat soared. How? That's impossible. The doctors. They were wrong. Her eyes softened painfully. Or God chose to make them wrong. Lee J's breath broke. Tears filled his eyes, raw, unrestrained. I'm going to be a father. His voice trembled with disbelief. Me? She nodded. Tears streamed down his face. He reached for her hand again, gripping it like a lifeline. Diana. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve you. Or this baby. But if you give me one chance, just one, I will spend the rest of my life making it right. Her gaze held his. Wounded. Scared. But not hopeless. Then prove it, she whispered. Prove that the man I married still exists beneath all the secrets. He nodded slowly, tears falling freely. I will. I swear I will. Diana turned toward the door. But before she stepped out, she paused and spoke without looking back. Rest tonight. Tomorrow, we talk about the future. And when the door closed behind her, Lee J pressed a shaky hand over his heart, feeling something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. But hope is fragile. So fragile. And not everyone wanted him alive to see this new future. Some men are born into darkness. Others are pushed into it. But only a few choose to walk back into the light. Lee J had made his choice. For the first time since the gas explosion that ruined his life years ago, he woke with something stronger than fear in his chest. Purpose. Hope. A reason to live. Diana. And the unborn child he never believed he could have. But the world he belonged to would not let him leave so easily. 3 days after his surgery, while Diana was discussing discharge papers with another doctor, Lee J had a visitor. 2 men in dark coats, men he once commanded, slipped into his hospital room. They bowed slightly, but their expressions were tense. Boss, one whispered, the clan is restless. Lee J glared. Don't call me that. You're still our leader. Not anymore, he said firmly. The younger man stepped closer. You think you can walk away? After everything? The deals, the blood, the territories. I'm done. His voice was cold steel. Find someone else. The older man swallowed. The rivals almost killed you. They tried to take everything. If you disappear, our entire network will collapse. Let it collapse, Lee Jae said flatly. I don't care. Both men stared at him, stunned. You're choosing your wife over the clan, the younger one asked bitterly. No, Lee Jae said. I'm choosing the life I should have been living all along. The older man's eyes softened. He had watched Lee Jae grow into a leader, watched him bleed for power he never wanted. Then we'll handle things, he said quietly. You've given enough. They bowed once more. And for the first time, they left him not as a boss, but as a man. Later that evening, Diana returned to the room and found Lee Jae staring out of the window, the city lights reflecting in his eyes. You're quiet, she said softly. I've made a decision, he replied. She held her breath. About us. About everything. He turned toward her. I'm leaving the Mafia. Diana's heart stopped. You, what? I can't stay in that world. Not with a child coming. Not after almost dying. Not after what I did to you. Her lips parted in disbelief. Lee Jae, that world is dangerous. They won't let you leave so easily. I know. She walked toward him slowly, her eyes shining with worry. They could come after you. After us. After the baby. He reached for her hand, holding it gently. I'll protect you, he said. Even if I have to walk through fire to do it. Tears slipped down her cheek. You're scaring me, she whispered. I'm terrified too, he admitted. But I'm more afraid of losing you than losing everything else. Her breath trembled. Do you still love me? She asked, voice barely audible. His answer came without hesitation. Yes. A single word. Sharp. True. Unshakable. I always did, he added softly. But I was too broken to recognize it. Diana leaned her forehead against his chest, and for a long moment, they stood together in silence. Two wounded souls, trying to stitch themselves back into something whole. Before leaving the hospital, Lee Jae asked to see Bora. Diana didn't want him to. But he insisted. She needs to hear it from me, he said. Security guarded the hallway when Bora arrived, escorted by the police. She had been arrested for her connection to the rival clan's ambush. Her wrists were cuffed. Her eyes were wild. Her smile was cold. Well, she sneered, walking into the room. Look who survived. Lee Jae's expression did not change. Why did you do it, Bora? Why betray me? She laughed, loud, bitter, broken. Because you betrayed me first. He shook his head. I never promised you anything. You promised me hope, she spat. You made me believe I mattered. You touched me. You held me. And all the while, you were married. To her. She glared at Diana. You replaced me with a woman who knew nothing about your world. Diana stepped forward calmly. No, she said softly. He replaced weakness with strength. Lies with truth. You were never love, Bora. Just an escape. Bora stiffened. Lee Jae added quietly, I'm done with you. With the Mafia. With everything that broke me. Bora's eyes widened. You're leaving? Yes. And for the first time, real fear flickered across Bora's face. Not because she wanted him back, but because everything she destroyed him for meant nothing now. You're a fool, she hissed. A man like you can't walk away from blood. Lee Jae didn't blink. Watch me. The officers pulled her away. Her scream echoed down the hall. This isn't over. That night, Diana helped Lee Jae pack the few things he kept in his hospital room. She watched him move, still weak, still fragile, still healing. But different. Where will we go? She asked softly. Wherever you want, he said. As long as we're together. She touched his hand suddenly, surprising even herself. I believe you, she whispered. He exhaled shakily. Thank you. For what? For giving me a second chance. They walked toward the elevator, side by side. Not as strangers. Not as broken lovers. But as two people stepping toward a future neither of them expected. A future that terrified and healed them at once. And somewhere deep inside Diana, a warmth bloomed, small, fragile, but real. Hope. Some endings do not arrive with noise. Some arrive quietly, Like dawn slipping over a wounded city, soft and unexpected. For Diana and Lee J, their dawn came slowly. It began 3 weeks after he left the hospital. They were living in a small, warm apartment in Incheon, far from the towering buildings, far from the shadows of Hiso Tower, far from the world that tried to swallow them whole. Lee J woke first that morning, sunlight touching his face. The room smelled like warm tea and safety. He turned his head and saw Diana asleep beside him, her hand resting gently over her small, growing belly. He stared at her for a long time. Her beauty was soft that morning, her curls spread across the pillow, her lashes resting like feathers, her breath steady and peaceful. There was a time he believed he would never deserve a moment like this. He reached out with trembling fingers and lightly brushed a curl from her forehead. Her eyes opened slowly. "You're staring again," she murmured, her voice thick with sleep. He smiled, a real smile, soft, honest, almost shy. "I can't help it." Diana stretched, her hand instinctively covering his. "Are you okay?" For the first time in years, he whispered, "Yes." She watched him carefully. "No nightmares?" He shook his head. "Not last night." "And pain?" "Only the good kind," he said quietly. She blinked. "What good kind?" He took her hand and pressed it against his chest, over his heart. "This," he whispered. "The kind that reminds me I'm alive." Her throat tightened. "Lee J." He leaned in, kissing her forehead gently, like the man he was before the darkness, before the lies, before the betrayal. "Let me make breakfast," he said. "You rest. You cook now," she teased softly. "For you. I'll learn anything." The days that followed were quiet, slow, and healing. Lee J attended therapy. He cut ties with every trace of the Mafia. He burned old documents, old numbers, old weapons, everything that tied him to violence. He even visited his mother's grave, kneeling with trembling hands as he whispered, "I'm trying, Mother. I'm really trying." Every day, he returned home to Diana, a woman who watched him with guarded eyes, but eyes that softened, little by little, whenever he laughed, or cooked, or read baby books aloud even when he mispronounced half the words. At night, when she struggled with nausea, he held her hair back. When she cried for no reason, he held her gently. When her cravings hit, he ran outside in the rain at 2 a.m. to find tangerines. And slowly, slowly, Diana's heart began to trust him again. Not blindly, not foolishly, but honestly. One evening, as they sat on the balcony watching the Incheon sunset, Lee J placed a hand on her belly. "Do you think they can hear us yet?" he whispered. "Maybe," she said with a soft laugh. He leaned close to her stomach. "Hello, little one. I'm your father. I know I'm not perfect, but I promise you, I'll be better than the man I used to be." Diana's eyes filled with quiet tears. He looked up at her. "Diana?" "Yes. There is something I want to ask you, something I should have asked with a real heart the first time." Her breath caught. He took her hand gently. "I don't want a marriage of duty anymore," he said. "I want a marriage of love, of choice, of truth." He swallowed hard. "Will you choose me again? Not the man I was, but the man I'm becoming?" Diana stared at him, at the man who had broken her, bled for her, changed for her, loved her in ways he never knew he could. She placed her hand on his cheek. "I choose you, Lee J," she whispered. "This time, with my whole heart." He exhaled shakily, pulling her into his arms with a soft, trembling laugh of relief. The sunset wrapped them in golden light. And for the first time, their love wasn't surviving. It was blooming. A love reborn from the ashes.